Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to another Stephen King book review. If you're confused and thinking to yourself, hasn't he reviewed all of Stephen King's books? No, I have not. I have reviewed them all written over on Goodreads, except for the later ones because I started doing the videos. I might go back and finish those up. I don't know. I might not. Not too happy with Goodreads. Their interface, I haven't been happy with it in years. But anyways, what you might be thinking of, if you're thinking that I've reviewed these books before, you might be thinking of my Thursday Theorist series where I connect all of Stephen King's book to the Dark Tower and the Stephen King universe in general. But today, we are reviewing Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King, of course. Anyways, I have a story about this one that I love telling, and if you've already heard it, then you can scrub ahead a couple minutes. When I was younger, this book came out. Let me make sure I get the year right. I believe I'm almost 100% positive that I was 13 years old. 1993 is when it came out, so I was 13 years old. It's very easy to do the math for my age because I was born in '80. Anyway, so I was 13 years old, or I was about to turn 13. Either way, I was not allowed to read any of Stephen King's books. Up until around 15 or 16, I was only allowed to read like Christopher Pike, R.L. Stine, that kind of stuff. I wasn't much of a Goosebumps reader, but I did love Stine's Fear Street series, the cheerleaders, all that stuff, the history of Fear Street, all that good stuff. But we're talking about King right now. I was not allowed to read any of the cool books. My mom kept all what I considered the cool books in the Great Book Closet, which is what I coined it. It was a walk-in closet that my mother had while at the house where I lived when we were growing up. And she kept them in there, and she kept the closet locked so that I could not get into it because I wasn't avid reader. Scholastic Book Fair, anyone? Holy crap, I would blow so much money in there. Money that my mom gave me, and I would save up my lunch money just so I could buy more books. But yeah, anyways, Scholastic Book Fair peeps down there in the doobly-doo, show it love. Anywho, so this one, my mother subscribed. I think it's probably about 91, so on and so forth. Around that time, anyways, she subscribed to the Stephen King library, which only did Stephen King books. What happened was they would send you the newest books, but they would also send you each book in chronological order until his next book came out. Then they would send you that, and they were book club editions, but they were still the same size as the books that were on the shelf. They weren't like the Doubleday editions, I'm not going to get off on that rant. We're talking about Dolores Claiborne here. So when I was 12 or 13, this book came in the mail. I went out and I got it, and I saw it, and I was like, ooh, Stephen King. I had caught a glimpse of A Cycle of the Werewolf at this point. I also had seen bits and pieces of the Pet Sematary movie because my dad didn't want to watch me, and my mother and her friend Andrita were going to the drive-in to watch Pet Sematary, so she told me to sit in the back seat and not watch the movie, and I kept peeking around, and of course, one of the times I peeked around, there was Zelda. So yeah, I literally peed myself in the back seat because I had to go to the bathroom too. But anyways, so I had seen movies, I'd heard of Stephen King, interest peaked, right? I go out to the mailbox to get the mail after school, and I bring it in, and I open it up, and it is this book. Yes, I stole my mother's book, but we're going to move on with the story. So I take it into my room, and I read it over the course of 2 nights. It would take me a week to read 120 to 150 page R.L. Stine book, like the Fear Street books, or a Christopher Pike book that is around the same length. Huge font and everything. I read it. I'd never wanted to stop reading it. Technically, I believe it is the first adult book that I ever read, and it made me a lifelong Stephen King fan. The story revolves around Dolores Claiborne, who gets away with one crime that she committed and then is blamed for a crime that she did not commit. That's as much as I really want to say about this book. But it is very interesting. It is told in an interview style. Dolores is sitting there, no other person's dialogue. She tells dialogue along the way, but it's not a back and forth between her and the people who are interviewing her. In fact, it's all like, oh, it'll be lines like, what do you mean, why did I do this? That kind of thing. You won't actually hear from the detective. There are no chapters. It's written as one long book. It does have page breaks. It does have places that you can pause. I saw a lot of people saying they couldn't get through this book because it didn't have chapters in my Thursday Theorist review, and that boggles the mind because, like Carrie, it has page breaks. It doesn't have numbers, and if that's all you needed was numbers, just go through and write the numbers yourself. I don't know. Anyways, I just love the whole setup. I love the way the book is told. It is told from Dolores' point of view as the interview is progressing. There is a very upsetting scene of child molestation in here. So that is one of your triggers. Definitely stay away from it. There's one in Gerald's Game also. I should have mentioned that in that review. I apologize. But I like how it turned out. I think the recompense was perfect, especially since it says it is not swift. And if you know what I'm talking about, that's probably the only scene of true horror in this book is I'll just go ahead and say the well. And both this one and Gerald's Game are kind of like not really twinners of each other, not really, but they happen parallel times during a solar eclipse of the sun that hits a certain section of Maine. And I thought connecting those two books, same as he did with the alternate universes of Desperation and the Regulators. I thought what he did here, connecting them with the I almost said beam, with the eclipse, I thought that was brilliant also. But still to this day, I've read this book numerous times. I've probably read it almost as much as I've read Stephen King's It. I keep saying Stephen King's, as much as I've read It. But if I say Stephen King's It, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to say about 13 to 15 times roughly. I've read It 18 times before I stopped rereading it. I'm probably due for another... No, I'm not. No, I'm not due for another reread. Stop. You got too many other books. Stop it. Anyways, so yeah, this is one of my favorites, and if you haven't read it, if it's one of those books that flew under the radar for you, I really suggest you go out and try it. It is a very literary story, very small, very heavy on theme and emotion, and I think he nailed this one and knocked this one out of the park. Last thing I'll say is, as with Annie Wilkes in Misery, Kathy Bates absolutely kills the character of Dolores Claiborne in the movie. It's a fantastic film. If you have not seen it, definitely go out. If nothing else, watch the movie. But I plead to you, read the book as well. But if you have already read it, let me know what you think of Dolores Claiborne down there in the doobly-doo. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another Stephen King review. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!